did run a 4:01.56 to win that. Pretty amazing.
And we started today's finals with the 3,200 meters. Jolina Corzo doubles, winning both the 16 and the 3,200 in a blistering 10:19 time, beating her sister's record. And that was fun. We thought that was going to be the highlight.
Yeah.
And then we saw Mia Cochran come back and run 10:13 to set state records. So state records set in both 3,200 meters.
And then Sean Aiken led from the start, then fell behind a little bit, but came back to pull off the 3,200 for the boys double A in a 9:13, incredible time. 9:13 was it, and so that's been pretty amazing how fast the times are. And then C.J. Singleton, who gave Martin a run for the money in the mile early on, he wins the 3,200 going away 8:57.73. Roy Lieberman was second in 9:02.88. So some great times today already, and yesterday. It's been an amazing meet so far.
And all four of those 3,200 meter winners were from District 7.
I knew that was coming.
Yep.
Yeah, there's something about long distances in the water out there in the Whippeal District 7 area, Western Pennsylvania, right around Pittsburgh. Just a phenomenal talent pool when it comes to the distances.
So today, then, in the sprint, the two shortest races, we had the 100 hurdles for the girls. Talia Buxton from West Catholic runs 14:23. That's a state #1 time. And Tegan Signor from Strathaven wins the 3A in 14:71.
My goodness.
And so in the boys double A, to start things off in the high hurdle, 110 high hurdle, it was Jake Rose duplicating his race from last year. And Jake didn't really have a great race, but it was a great time, 14:09, as he hit some hurdles over that, but nevertheless picks up the win in that event. And then to the AAA boys, it was I'm going to call it a picture-perfect race because it was outstanding coming from Harrisburg's Walter. And I'm just looking up his time here as I get there. It is Damaris Walters with a 13.86. That's his best. That's the National High School Federation High School Honor Roll. Didn't break the record of 13.69, but was pretty doggone close.
Hey, after that, we saw the 100 meters with Tatum Norris of Susquehanna Community leading start to finish, dominating in 12:36. And then Lila Campbell just powering an 11:53 for her PIAA record.
Nicely done. Nicely done. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention that in his 100-meter dash, wheeling his way to a time of 23:23, Alex Brown, North Catholic, out of District 7. Excellent job there by that athlete.
I don't have the 100-meter finals.
Joey Gant from Penn Ridge was the 3A winner.
Yeah, the double A wasn't coming up. Here it is now. Double A winner was Ethan Black at 10:07. No way, that was his qualifying time. So I don't see the results yet.
But he did win.
Yes.
Well, be sure to keep up with the PIAA Championships and follow us on social media for exclusive behind-the-scenes content and highlights from the championships. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter at PCNTV. Here we go now as you see all of the competitors, the combatants, if you will, for this longest of all relays, the 4x800 meter relay. And guys, it's so big, we're going to be seeing 2 heats in every classification. This will be the first of 2 for the girls in the small schools, the 2A category. And here the national record is 8 minutes, 48.29 seconds, set in 2012. The PIAA record was set back in 2003. Time for a change here in 9 years. 9:07.82, the mark that still has withstood the test of time. Gwynedd Mercy, District 1's Bishop, McGrath, Mealy, and Vernon turning in that stellar time. And there you see the teams represented in this first of 2 relays. And I'm guessing, guys, that it's kind of the way it was earlier today in our 2 heat finals, that we'll do the timed finals, and that the first heat of the 2 will be the ones that qualify, but maybe not with the fastest times.
That's correct. So divided in half. We have 4 athletes running a relay. There's no qualifying for this. This used to be what we started the day with before the reformat of the. We have a false start.
Yeah, we do.
So I think there was just movement, so they're not going to DQ anybody on that. If you've noticed, they all have gold batons, so they all have the same baton, and they're collected at the end of each race. So there's no advantage to having any particular different baton. They're all identical.
And I guess that's. Is there any way to cheat with a baton? I'm wondering.
Well, you can have different materials for the batons.
I see.
They do have to have a specific weight and length.
Good to know.
They can't be dented up, because that gives you an unfair advantage in holding it.
It looks like the girl that was out in the alley on the right side cut into the inside post there right away.
And in this heat, we have Burrell, Avonworth, Northgate, Winchester Thurston, North Schuylkill, New Hope-Solebury, Bedford, Science Leadership Academy, Bartram Motivation, Carlynton, Notre Dame Green Pond, Punxsutawney, and Purchase Line on the track right now.
2 laps each team member makes up the 8 laps for the total of 3,200. One of my favorite races, Rick. I love the 4x8.
Well, this really shows the depth of your team, and you as a coach, how to arrange those athletes to give yourself the advantage. Some teams like to run from the front, so they'll put their best athlete up front. They want other teams to have to chase them down, while others, they'll take their top 800 runner, maybe a 215 girl, and put her last, so that if she's behind, she could run anybody down.
Normal state of affairs is that you run your second best first, you run your slowest second, then your third, and then bring back your anchor, which is your fastest on that one. But you're right, there's many ways to skin that cat, and depending on how your athletes stack up. I remember one year it was necessary to go slow, second, third, and fourth, and it just worked out well that way. So you might have a girl that runs in a pack better that you might want to put in the beginning of the race when it's still packed up there.
Carlynton came in as the #1 seed in this heat. 5th place, now 4th place, now contending for 3rd place. This is a strong leg for Carlynton as they start to make things happen from 5th to 3rd right now, heading around the final turn and heading for home and getting ready for another exchange.
And you can also look at the fact that you might have a 9th grader who's not as experienced, and where do you put them so that they're not nervous at this level?
Right. And sometimes the start's a little nervous because you don't want a false start cause any problems for the rest of the team.
Carlynton has actually dropped back to 5th place. The exchange is made right around the 2:27 mark of this race.
So good exchanges there. After you make the exchange, you have to hold your position. Other runners will come, and if there's a collision, that would be the runner who made the collision's problem.
Here comes the #2 seeded team, and that looks like it's Burrell out of District 7 taking over the lead here in the 3rd leg of the contest.
It's always interesting, even when you see bigger leads in like this second handoff, there's so much more to go to it.
They evaporate quickly
Yeah.
with the 3rd and 4th runners.
Carlynton now in 4th place, so starting to make up some of that deficit again. We'll see if this is a lasting effort for our top seed here in Heat 1 of 2.
So it's the same thing. This part of the race coming up, the third 200, that's the one you gotta really grind out. The last one's not so hard, but this one is.
Punxsutawney Area starting to close down a bit of a gap there between second and first place. And I guess the mascot for Punxsutawney is anything but a groundhog.
I think so.
Right?
I hope so for their sake.
And a battle shaping up for third place right now. One of those cherished medal spots. Carlynton starting to make a move here to try to secure third place, and it looks like that has just happened.
You can see most of these girls are carrying the baton in their outer hand as they turn, so that's their right hand. But there are a few left-handers there. It depends on what you're comfortable with.
And as far as exchanges go, are there more than one technique for that?
Typically, the best way is you are facing the inside of the track. You get the baton in your left hand and you move it to your right hand, and then you run the turns with the baton in the outer hand. That's what most people will do. Now and then you see some crazy stuff.
Well, what happens is once they come out of the turn, they readjust the runners if necessary. So if people are passing each other, then they got to get the person in the right order, and that can cause some confusion.
The Punxsutawney exchange is making a difference here, but we've got a contest here in the final leg, it looks like. Three together coming out of the first turns of this two-lap grand finale leg of the contest. Burrell now in the lead. Carlynton, the lead, the top seed in second place. Punxsutawney doing a good job of using those two teams, or at least one of them, to draft here. But Burrell is really starting to open up a lead here. And second and third are not assured either. We see another team starting to make a move here.
So that's a nice group of three athletes all working together.
And that's an advantage they have over the leader here, which they could possibly certainly track down here.
Oh, Notre Dame of Green Pond went from fourth to second in a flash, like at the start of turn 2 and the end of turn 2 in that time span. Now has sights set on the leader, Burrell. Notre Dame Green Pond, fourth seed, as you see there by the seeding numbers. Hoping to make up some ground here on the final lap of this contest. Or, I'm sorry, final lap of this leg. We still have one leg to go.
It'll be interesting to see how Green Pond responds here in this third 200. And look, she's running her down now.
So
there in the background, Joey Gant receiving his gold medal for the 100-yard sprint in the big schools 3A division for boys. As this 4x800 meter relay continues, the first of two heats for the small schools.
So 800 meters, the new toughest race.
Yeah.
It's right in between your sprinters 4 and your distance, distance 1600. Oh, and a pass back.
Wow. Setting up your anchor in great fashion here is Notre Dame Green Pond. That's the Notre Dame out of District 11, the Allentown, Bethlehem, Easton area. And the exchange. Boy, you don't see, I think I read that. Oh, and look at this
that
anchor
was an
leg.
Excellent exchange.
A lot of firepower here. All launching. Staggered starts for each of them. I don't know if any ground's going to be made up here. We'll have to see. Although there's a pass going on in the back straight.
Lapping a runner.
Notre Dame, fourth seed, you see, looking pretty fast here in the back straight. The first of the two final laps underway. Giving chase is the second seed, Burrell.
We won't see any passing in the next heat, but this will give the runners something to run for here. That's been a very strong leg.
Wow, that's an amazing leg.
Yes,
Greg.
The secret is Can you do it for one more lap?
Right. And she's...
I'm not sure.
Well, that's...
Well, the national record, 8:48.29, set in 2012. The PIAA record set by Gwendid Mercy back in 2003. We talked about Bishop, McGrath, Vernon, and Mealy setting a 9:07.82. And the fastest, which we have yet to see the fastest groupings here, but the fastest to date this year, Penn Charter with a 9:22.31. They clocked that one at the Penn Relays Carnival back at the end of April.
So with those two runners being dead even and now a 40-meter advantage,
yes,
that's tremendous. And you're looking at maybe scoring the 8th or 9th place over the teams in the next section who are seeing that they're out of it and they just don't finish strong.
Right.
So here's a great opportunity.
And she has someone to chase. So she has run a great second lap, and they're going to have a pretty good time. They're going to go under 10. With this, which coming in they had not broken 10, so that's going to be not just a PR.
Yeah, that's
for
a
them.
nice drop in time.
Yeah.
And no contest for Notre Dame Green Pond, hoping to clock a fast time, not just to win Heat 1, but to have a time that will last to make it to the medals ceremony after Heat 2 gets to perform. Notre Dame Green Pond, your winner of Heat 1. Burrell, second place.
That 9:55 time might be able to hold up. That's pretty good.
I think so too. I think it could be a medal placement there. But what a great anchor leg coming from Green Pond. Now we have a little while yet because there's some runners that were lapped. So we have to make sure that those runners get to finish. As we mentioned, lap runners, there was a point in time where lap runners had to drop out of the race a long time ago, but that's no longer the case. And then there was a point in time where you had to move to the second lane, but that seemed to cause more problems than it did, than it benefited anything. And so they went to it, just stay where you are, the other people will pass you.
Yeah.
And that's one of the nice things about track and field is that the rules modifications that they make over the years are for the benefit of the athletes. Unlike some of the other sports where rule changes or rule adaptations seem to be more for the entertainment portion, this is truly about the experience of the athletes.
Correct. One I think they're talking about, for instance, in basketball, is the shot clock. You know, that's to try to make the game a little faster. But in track, and it doesn't necessarily benefit the athletes, as you said. But in this race, in track and field, they do. One more to finish.
Take a look at how the race was won. At least 3 or 4 teams taking hold of that lead. Punxsutawney making a pass here against Burrell to take their share of the lead. And Notre Dame Green Pond with the third leg really making a difference here. That young lady going from 5th to 1st by the time she hit the finish line at the end of her 2 laps. And that was made to last, courtesy of your anchor leg at the end. Notre Dame Green Pond picking up top honors in heat number 1. We'll see if that time is able to withstand the onslaught of the next 8 teams that will be coming to the start line. And here we are, Notre Dame Green Pond, first place. Burrell, missed it. Punxsutawney finishing in 3rd place.